Hello everyone in MedicalScribe. I'm Karar Haidar, student at Baghdad Medical College. In the previous videos, we talked about the appendicular skeletal system, and we explained the bones of the first and the second regions those form it, which were the pectoral girdle bones and the upper limbs bones, and we understand their most important details. While in today's video, we will talk about the third region bones, which are the pelvic girdle bones. The pelvic girdle, which is commonly named as the hip, is a ring of bones attached with the vertebral column. Those bones will form the left and the right hip bones, and mainly it will connect the lower limb bones with the axial skeleton. Well, this pelvic girdle will be attached to the vertebral column by a joint called the Sacroiliac Joint. This joint will connect the sacral bone with the ilium. Now, as we say, this pelvic girdle composed of two hip bones, or two coxal bones. So every hip bone considered as a large, flattened, and irregularly shaped bone. And this hip bone will consist of smaller three bones. Those three bones will be fused in the early adulthood, and each one of them will contribute a part of the acetabulum, which is the deep cavity that receives the head of the femoral bone. And now we will explain the important details about each of those three bones who is forming the hip bone. The first bone is the ilium. This bone is a large and fan-shaped bone that form the upper portion of the hip bone. While the second bone is the ischium. This curved bone will form the lower posterior portion of the hip bone. And in this bone, we will have a prominence called the ischial tuberosity. This tuberosity the body rests on when it's seated. The third bone is the pubis. This bone will form the lower anterior portion of the hip bone, and this bone will curve medially toward the opposite pubic bone, till both bones join together in a very important joint called the pubic symphysis. So those are the three bones that form the hip bone, and the two hip bones, as we said, will form the pelvic girdle. Finally, in today's video, we will talk about the pelvic girdle functions, which are four main functions. The first function is to connect the lower limb bones with the axial skeleton. The second function is to easily transfer the body weight from the vertebral column through this pelvic girdle toward the lower limb. While the third function is that the ischium through the ischial tuberosity, as we said, will support the body as in sitting position. And lastly, the pelvic girdle will help in locomotion. So those were almost all important details and a brief explanation about the pelvic girdle bones. And that's it. I hope what I said makes sense. See you next video, and goodbye.